I am back, you guys. Little music. Hey, Sorry about that. It's called trial and error. Welcome to the Here and Now show. I am glad to be back. It has been a year. I've been under the radar. My last podcast, it was more or less hacked under the Marshall 74 show. It was hacked, and I was off the radar for about a year. And then I rebirthed the Here and Now podcast, and I'm really excited about that. For those who don't know, I'm Lavonda Ray Marshall. And it's just been so long, you guys, and if you have any questions or any comments, feel free to type them in. And or if you just want to set in the chat, I am fine with that. Um, as you can see, I don't know if you guys can see, but the topic that I decided to go with is welcoming 2026, right? Um, and it's more or less of me just basically on this particular moment of the show, I will my hair, guys. I'm telling you, I'm not perfect. But on this particular show, I'm just basically want to let you guys know when I'll be back on the air and, the little common things so you guys could tap in or eventually tap in. I also want to say thank you to all my 30 subscribers. Hey, that's that is enough for me. It took a lot to get to that point, and I'm so thankful. And feel free to subscribe at any time you want to. But like I said, Lavonda Marshall, coming from the Midwest, where we come in, show out. Hey. you know, it's always nice to know. Being here in the Midwest, you get that funny weather. You can get 9 degrees today, and it's 90 degrees today, and tomorrow, look up and it's 0 degrees, below seven. But it is a wonderful state. College town, Mizzou Tigers, if you're familiar with them. And with that, I'm not really a football fan. So if you're familiar with Missouri, then you're familiar with Mizzou. And Mizzou, from what I understand, got a pretty good team, football, basketball. And if I'm incorrect, I still say that it's a good team. Again, I'm not a sports person. And a little bit about myself to kind of refresh the memories. Last year, not too much has changed. I change every day. Um, so this year, let me tell you about myself. Let's see, I'm a mother of three wonderful children, three daughters. I have two wonderful grandsons. They are a blessing to have in my life, and it's wonderful to have grandchildren. If you're a grandmother or a grandpa or whatever, it just feels great. It's different from when you raised your own children versus raising their children. Isn't that amazing? Our children, they or we either, we one day we grow up and we have little us's going around and little lives that depend on us, and we were once that. It's amazing. You get older and you kind of be like, oh, God, I remember when I was that age. A lot of memories of that age. But however, I want to thank everybody or anybody who is about to tune in or will eventually tune in or later tune in. I will be having my shows every Tuesday night. Originally, I was supposed to start at 6, but then a little things happened in between there. So I apologize for not being precise on that time. I'm not going to go into my personal life on, why I wasn't there, but it will not happen again. I will be there for that, and so every Tuesday I will be airing between 6:30 and 7. That's not a lot, but that gives you a little time to be like, okay, she said before 7. So, I'll have a little break between 6:30 and 7, but I'll actually will start to air at on or about 7 o'clock. Thank you. Also, if you can't tell, I'm airing from my home and I enjoy it. It's comfortable. It's a comfort zone for me. As I said, my topic is welcoming 2026. Uh, last year for me, I don't know for you guys, but last year for me, was a lot. I had a lot of things that were life changing. And then there was other events that took place in my life that not made me think that 2026 is the year of change, but it is. And people say that all the time, but one thing that I learned, that if you mean it and you want it and you're devoted to it, you can change, because change comes within yourself. So as long as you have that change, you're going to always be that light, because you're able to take accountability for the things that might have happened, or the decisions that you might have made that wasn't so healthy in your path. And nobody's perfect. I've made so many unhealthy decisions in my life that I'm old enough now to know, I probably won't do that. Kind of like, oh, I don't think I want to stay outside too late, but I'm gonna go outside. I don't want to jump in the street, so I'm gonna stay on the curb type shit. Um, but um, so this 2026 for me, I will also share with my listeners that I do have my webpage. It's called Marshall's Books and More. It is where I have launched a brand name label for me, with my label, my logo, and it's sweatshirts for men, women. I have women clothing, men, women, and children, and accessories. Yay! So if you get the time, just Google Marshall with one L, Books and More, LCC, LLC, and then you'll see my webpage. And you can purchase items on that page. That would be, just great for the support. And I have an upcoming book signing coming up in February 22nd. It'll be the last series of Missing My Daughter Ava. If you're not familiar with it, you could go on Google, um, type in Lavonda Marshall, and the book will pop up. But again, so for me, for the new year, that was something I did, was I created a webpage. Also, a more serious note, for the new year, I've not only for the new year, but for a life changing event, I decided that my no's are going to be my no's. Sometimes I'm the type of person that my no's will sometimes turn into yes, when potentially and essentially I should have stuck with no, because essentially your nose should have stayed your nose, because sometimes if you convert your nose into yes, it could potentially ruin you. You know, you have to, not want to just make other people happy by saying, you know, I mean no, and then you say yes because you want to make someone else happy. Well, I'll tell you right now, making others happy is some bullshit. Mhm. Because you don't just want to make, because if you go around life trying to make everybody else happy, and I wonder what they're going to think about me, I wonder what this person's going to think about me, or what if I do this, or what if I do that. You know what, I'm going to tell you right now, you will have a very long, dry, depressing, exhausting life, because you're not living life for you. you know and not living life for you is something that you have to do, because at some point you're going to wonder, when am I ever going to get to that point where I can be at peace with myself and with happiness. I I think that for me, you take life, and everything that you do, there's repercussions, and there are things that you do when oh no, I probably shouldn't have done that. I did it anyway, and then the repercussions of those I did it anyway is worse than the chance that you took. And so, I think that for the new year, new birth, new life, new you,